Welcome to the Wolfe Show. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about self-worth. At one point in my life, I had racked up a lot of achievements and accomplishments, but I didn't have self-worth. Self-worth is so fundamental to having a good internal experience of life that I wish I could just download it straight into your brain. It's the one gift I would choose to give every human being if I could. I think neuroscience will eventually replace psychology, and then at that point, you'll probably just be able to walk into a store and buy a self-worth program and have it installed into your brain. Until then, I hope this talk gives you what you need to increase your self-worth. I can already see you suffering less and less, improving faster from your mistakes, feeling happier and healthier, smiling more, and treating others better than you are now. I can see your self-worth growing, and it's the coolest thing ever to me. When it grows enough, you might be able to share it with others. Let's start with you for now. Hay House founder Louise L. Hay said, "You've been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." What a great quote. We're really good at putting ourselves down. However, it's not healthy, and it's not even the most effective way to become a better person. Studies have shown that we improve faster if we get 5 positive pieces of feedback to 1 negative. So if your goal is to improve, yelling at yourself or calling yourself names or thinking poorly about yourself isn't actually helping you. Thinking you are a bad person does nothing for you, and it's also damaging to everyone around you. Let's start the process of increasing our self-worth right now. Self-worth is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's so fundamental to your life, and it's completely up to you. You alone decide how much you're worth. That's why it's called self-worth, not other worth or anything like that. If you decide that you're worth $1 billion, then you're worth $1 billion. You get to decide your price. If you decide you're priceless, you are priceless. If you decide you're worthless, yep, that's also true. You don't need any social inputs from your external environment to help you determine your worth. And you can use any measurement you wish. Think of it this way. If I asked you to think of 5 reasons right now why you're a good person, I bet you could do it. Now, if I asked you to come up with 5 reasons why you're a bad person, I bet you could do that too. So which is it? Are you a good person or are you a bad person? The answer is your choice, and it always has been, whether you are conscious of that fact or not. Now, our society tells us that the way things work is that we take an action, we get validation for that action if we deserve it, and then we repeat that process over and over until we die. I'd like you to consider flipping that model inside out to this one. Give yourself validation first, and then act from that place of fullness. One thing that I've found very helpful is to believe in my self-worth for absolutely no reason at all. I think I'm awesome just because I exist. Many of the happiest and most successful people in the world employ this mindset. Actually, what's really cool is that there is never a real reason to believe you're valuable or not. For example, if you win a gold medal at the Olympics, you might think that would be reason enough to think highly of yourself. However, everyone who has won an Olympic medal sees that event differently. Some people probably do think they're more valuable after they win a gold medal. Other athletes might have to win 5 gold medals to think they are great. Other athletes might not take a gold medal into the calculus of their worth at all. Your self-worth is completely up to you 100% of the time, regardless of your circumstances and the opinions of others. Say this out loud with me, or better yet, write it down. I'm amazing because I'm, and fill your name in that blank. For me, it'd be, I'm amazing because I'm Jim. Go ahead and say that out loud or write it down now. How does that feel? Weird? Scary? Does it feel really good? For me, it was a little bit strange at first, but now it feels like the most natural thing in the world. It's so cool that you can base your self-worth on nothing at all. There's an infinite amount of nothingness that will always allow you to create your self-worth out of that nothing. This is the foundation of creating value for the world around you and the life you really want to live. Self-worth is the belief that you are fundamentally valuable for the mere fact that you exist. Your self-worth does not come at the expense of everyone else. It's not a zero-sum game. People with truly high self-worth are more compassionate, loving, and empathetic toward others. They also offer a deeper level of presence when they're with you, even if they're with you less often. Self-worth is very different from being vain or cockiness. It is realizing that you are inherently infinitely valuable just because you exist, and that who you really are is everything you see around you. You are always the one who gives you validation. Even if it appears that your validation is coming from the world around you, nobody ever reaches into your brain and sets off the chemical reactions you feel from being validated. You simply allowed those chemical reactions to happen based on the feedback you got from your environment. You finally felt like you deserved to feel good about yourself, so you did. The real secret here is that you are giving yourself the validation either way. It's innate. You allow yourself to feel validated when you think you deserve it. Self-worth is always your choice. You can take conscious control over this process and make yourself feel good anytime. It's what you're already doing anyway, whether you're aware of that or not. I encourage you to stop chasing reasons to feel good about yourself. Give yourself the gift of unconditional self-worth and act from that place instead. It's better for everyone if you do. How to feel good inside. There are many ways to feel good inside or avoid feeling bad inside. And while those aren't the only two human motivations, I think that would be an oversimplification. I think those two motivations are very powerful for us. Most of us want to feel better than we are now. And there's a lot of ways we can do that. And I've narrowed those things down to 5 levels, and I'm going to go over those with you now. For me, level 1 is doing things like taking drugs, drinking alcohol, eating something delicious that you know is not healthy, obtaining the approval of people you perceive to be above or better than you, taking reckless risks, entering into unhealthy relationships, and avoiding disapproval of others. I think those are level 1 behaviors that allow you to feel good or avoid feeling bad. Level 2 involves putting other people down or judging them. In level 2, you're always thinking and talking about what other lesser people are doing wrong in their lives. You're trying to change people. You're jealous of the success of others, and you cut them down to make yourself feel better about your perceived lack of success. You don't usually do things you really want to do, because then you wouldn't be able to judge others for doing that thing. If you're operating in level 3, you'll find yourself trying to be better than other people. In level 3, you're racking up accomplishments to feel better about yourself. You're trying to have more stuff. You're acting very self-righteous. You're trying to be more pious than other people. You're trying to win the competition. In level 4, you love yourself completely for no reason at all. You generate your own positive emotions and you raise the value of those around you. You create a new self-image that excites you, and then you go forward toward your mission and cooperate with people along the way. You do things you are passionate about, and you add as much value to the world as you can. You're always trying to create win-wins. You go with reality instead of fighting it. You express your self-love by eating good food, drinking healthy drinks, working out, getting proper sleep, designing your environment the way you want it to be, dressing the way you feel inside, spending time with people who are positive and uplifting, and by sharing your self-love with those you encounter along your authentic path. You stop doing things you don't want to do. You do more things that you love to do. You keep going on that path. In level 4, you practice genuine gratitude daily and always have amazing things you're looking forward to and that you're excited about. You smirk in the face of paradox. When things aren't going your way, you're able to remain light. After all of this, you revel in the truth that none of it really matters anyway. And if you're in level 5, you're living in a state of constant pure love. You're like the sun, shining all the time without ever asking for anything in return. You may reach this point a few times in your life, but it is very difficult to maintain. It's definitely a good thing to shoot for, as long as you're kind to yourself and don't expect yourself to always be in this state. My favorite episodes of the Art of Charm podcast have a similar scale that they use to explain how you interact with other people who you perceive to be better than you. I highly recommend giving those value episodes of the Art of Charm podcast a listen. I think there's a lot of value in those value episodes. Now, all of these behaviors that allow you to feel good inside or avoid feeling bad work. They all make you feel good or take away some of the feeling bad you have inside yourself. The problem with employing levels 1, 2, and 3 is that they only offer a short-term solution for feeling good inside. These methods usually have terrible long-term effects on you and your relationships. An obvious example is if you do drugs, you probably will feel amazing inside for a while. However, once the drugs wear off, you will often feel worse than you did before. You'll probably need a higher dose the next time you do drugs to feel the same level of good inside. And you might not be able to control whether you do those drugs or not at a certain point. Those same principles can apply to getting approval from others, cutting other people down, and racking up accomplishments. These methods for feeling good or avoiding feeling bad aren't bad in and of themselves. They simply are not healthy and sustainable. They aren't good for you over the long term. They're not good for anyone else either. They come from a needy, scarcity-minded place instead of abundance. They don't make the world a better place. Levels 4 and 5 are where we want to be. Now, there are some examples of behaviors that can be expressed through more than one level. For example, I used to work out and dress well in order to get attention from women. That was a level 1 behavior, because I was trying to get something from outside myself to make me feel good. Now, I work out and dress as well as I can because I want to express how much I love myself. I want my outside to match my inside. I want to be as healthy as I can because I have so much self-respect. The way I treat my body is an expression and reinforcement of my self-love. I don't punish myself for not being perfect yet by working out really hard anymore. Now when I work out, it's coming from the inside out versus trying to get something out there to come in. That is a level 4 behavior. If you're having a serious awareness attack right now, that's totally okay. I've definitely been there. It's totally fine that you've been employing behaviors from levels 1, 2, and 3 up until now. You don't have to feel badly about it. Be kind to yourself. It's not as if everyone knows about these levels and suddenly everyone knows what level you're on. Everyone out there is just learning the lessons they need to learn when they need to learn them. So let's just focus on you for now. If you've been doing anything from levels 1, 2, and 3, it's just because you learned to do so and didn't know you had other options. Now you can simply learn to operate from levels 4 and 5 more often. And I should say here that if you have some kind of actual physical addiction, you should definitely seek medical help for that. But if not, I think we can correct our behaviors. You're not stuck in one level or another either. In fact, we often operate from each of these levels at different times. It's our behavior in a particular scenario that determines what level we're operating on in that moment. Now that you're aware, you can move forward and stop doing things that aren't serving you and the world at a high level. Awareness can be painful, but it's the key to growth. Let's move from levels 1, 2, and 3 to levels 4 and 5. Let's live from that place as often as we can. Since you give yourself validation for no reason at all in levels 4 and 5, you no longer have to worry about what anyone else thinks about you. Now that you have a high sense of self-worth inside yourself, you don't have to look externally for validation. Self-worth is the antidote to insecurity. The more self-worth you have, the more secure you feel. You are amazing just because you exist. Again, that's what self-worth is. When you make mistakes or do something wrong, remember to attack the problem and save the value. You are still an amazing human being, even though you made an error. Use your mistakes and misjudgments to learn how to behave next time. Correct yourself and move forward. Always maintain the belief that you are worthy and good at your very core, because it's true. The same is true for everyone else too. The price of high self-worth is giving up your judgments of other people. The price of high self-worth is giving up your judgments of other people. If you judge other people less harshly, you can treat yourself lovingly too. If someone is very judgmental of others, you can be sure that they do not have a high sense of self-worth. Stop thinking and talking about what other people are doing. Stay in your own lane. If someone truly has a high sense of self-worth and is not covering their insecurity with fake confidence, you can be sure they are not very judgmental of others. Self-worth and the judgment of others are negatively correlated. The less you judge others, the higher your self-worth can be. The higher your self-worth is, the less you feel the need to judge other people. Take people off of any pedestals you have unfairly placed them on, and lift up anyone you have unfairly put down. We are all inherently valuable, even if we don't always act like it. In the general sense, we are equal, even if in any given specific context, we most certainly are not equal. Start treating yourself well today. You are worthy of respect and love just because you exist. Remember, you are awesome for no reason at all. I can't even believe how awesome you are. I love it. Have you ever known someone who was so amazing to you, but they felt bad about themselves? Have you ever wanted to do something for them, but you knew there was nothing you could do? Didn't you feel a little helpless because you cared about them, but you couldn't make them see how great they are? Well, I encourage you to think of that person as you and apply that lesson to yourself today. Start realizing how awesome you are. Your new, rock-solid, unconditional foundation of self-worth that you have gained today will serve you and the world well. Self-worth looks really good on you. Thanks for listening. I hope you got value out of this presentation. For more talks like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out my website, jamesdwolfe.com. That's jamesdwolfe.com. Cheers.